before you buy an iron. Come on in, welcome to my home. Today I want to talk to you about buying an iron. There are a couple things to think about. The first question is, do you need an iron? And if you're expecting me to say no, I'm not going to. Here's why. There will always be some odd circumstance that you need an iron. I mean, always. It could be for ironing a shirt, ironing sheets. There is nothing in this world like iron sheets. I'm telling you this right now. How often do I iron my sheets? Not that often, but there's nothing like laying on freshly ironed sheets. However, that being said, how often do I normally iron? In fact, if you want to know the truth, my mom and I, she is my next door neighbor, we share an iron because neither one of us use it that often. So why would I say that you do need an iron? Simply because there are going to be those times. I've had times where I needed to iron a shirt and I just didn't because, well, I was lazy, I'll admit it. But you are going to need an iron if you sew, if you are hanging up curtains, if you're putting out doilies, nobody does doilies, but placemats sometimes need iron. There are always going to be cases that you will occasionally need an iron. Now the next thing is, what kind of iron do you need? I have seen iron prices ranging anywhere from $10 to $100 on up. And I'm going to tell you, it just depends on you. By now you're probably asking yourself if you should buy a steam iron or a regular iron. And it's going to come down to, what are you ironing? Now if you're ironing something that should be flat, cotton, those sort of things, you can just get a regular iron. Here's the thing. Steam helps keep things fluffy. Or it helps relax things to do it quicker. Alright, let me explain. If you have a steam iron, you can use the steam to help relax the fibers so that way when you iron it, it's actually sort of damp and you can just iron it flat. Sort of like your hair. If you're doing your hair, for those of you who do your hair like this, you can take the steam and then just do all sorts of things with your damp hair. See? It makes sort of sense. Doing things with damp hair is much easier than trying to do things with dry hair. Same thing with fabric. Fabric is just a fiber. Doing things with a damp fiber is easier. Now, the time that you only want to steam something is like wool. Wool, you don't want to press it down because if you press it down, it becomes flat. Flat is bad with wool. Anything with a nap, anything which you think about this should feel fluffy, you don't want to use an iron on it, you want to use steam. Steam irons are like in between there. Okay, so what should you look for a good iron? Well, the first thing is even heat distribution on the plate. The heat should be distributed completely over the bottom plate of the iron. You don't want to have cold spots or hot spots, and you also don't want to have temperatures that are too hot or too cold, simply because hot temperatures can melt fabrics, and that can be a really bad thing. Now the other thing, if you're looking for a steam iron, you want to make sure that you have enough holes for even steam distribution. Does more holes equal better? No, it doesn't. Just because it has more holes in it does not mean it is a better steam iron. It just means that there are more holes in it. Yeah. And some steam irons, when you hit steam, it's just like a whole bunch of water flying out. Now, if you want to see me do a video where I compare steam irons, that's why we always have Patreon, so that I can then buy a whole bunch of steam irons and compare them and then tell you what I think about them. The iron that I have now is wonderful when I use it. I rarely ever use an iron, but this one is great, cleans up easy, has a nice heavy plate with even distribution of heat, and also the steam distributes evenly. What kind of features do you want on your iron? Do you want steam? Do you want to be able to mist your clothes? That is totally up to you. All those different features are important, but I am saying that yes, you probably do need an iron, but the question becomes, how fancy of an iron do you need? Most people just need the basic iron, which has the different settings. I do think that you need a heat adjustable iron. In fact, I think just about every iron is heat adjustable. Will not swear to that. But there are going to be cases where you are ironing things which are synthetic. Don't set a synthetic iron. Don't set an iron on like cotton and iron something that's synthetic with the cotton setting because, ooh, it will melt. Use your iron according to whatever the recommended manufacturer's setting is supposed to be for the clothing item or for the cloth. Our acrylics don't iron well. No. Lame? Ooh, there are nightmare stories I could tell you about that, but I won't. And you're also going to want to think about an iron that cleans up easily. That's the important part. There are non-stick irons. They cost a little bit more. There are ways that you can clean an iron. If you'd like me to show you how, let me know down in the comments. But the big thing is think about what you're going to use your iron for and how often you are going to use it. If you are rarely, if ever, going to use your iron, don't spend lots and lots of money on an iron. If you're going to use your iron every day, all the time, then you're probably going to want to get a better iron. And it depends what you're ironing with this. I know people who iron jeans, which I personally find is sort of strange. But then, like I said, I live a really casual life where when people come into my house, they're like, "Can I put my feet up on your ottoman?" And I'm like, "I have a dog. She sheds. Put your feet anywhere." So yes, that fits my lifestyle that I don't have an iron over here all the time, but I can get a hold of one if I need to. But your lifestyle might be one of these that you want to have an iron. You want that pure, clean, crisp edge on everything, in which case you're going to want to spend more money on an iron. But the other thing to think about is where are you going to put an iron, because irons, I mean, they're just one of those things where you want it in an accessible place, but you want it where you're going to use it. That's the big thing. I have an ironing board that I have access to. You can get those little tiny ironing boards, or you can iron on a table, you can iron on your bed if you need to. But having an iron available, I do think is really recommended. But don't spend lots and lots of money for a whole bunch of features if all you're going to do is once every 6 months iron a shirt or iron a curtain, because you don't need it. You just need an iron with variable settings, and if you really do you really need steam? No, you could take a spray bottle and just mist your clothing, or even take your wet fingers and sprinkle it over the item and then iron it. But it's really simple. Don't think that you have to spend tons and tons of money for an iron, which is just something which will just sit around collecting dust. However, when you need it, you need it. And you're usually going to need it at a time when nothing is open. So yeah, I would say get an iron, but get a reasonably priced iron, and then use it when you need it. What do you think about that? I'm not sure exactly how this helps you, because I'm stressing, I've said this like repeatedly now, I do think you need an iron, but I think it can be a less expensive iron, especially if you're not going to use it all the time. If you use it all the time, get a pretty good iron. But let me know down in the comments what you think, and I hope I get to see you again next time. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, you can share it, don't forget to subscribe, and check out the other videos on this channel. I love making these videos for you, and I hope I get to see you again next time.